What's up, everybody? How is everyone doing? Hope you're well. I'm feeling so much better. I started out 3 days ago, sick as just bad sick can be, and much better. First things first, I need a sound check. Let me know, do I sound okay? Because I could be sitting here and saying all this stuff and nobody hear a word I say. So let me get a sound check. Please, sound check, sound check, sound check. Hello, everybody. Renee. I'm going to wait for the hellos until it sounds okay. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and bring that one down. But yeah, okay. Samo, Tim, Screaming Janelle. Cool. Thank you. Diane, Rachel, Dorothy. I think I said Sarah, but here we go again. Sorty. Sarah, Aussie. I'm stepping all over my words. Maybe too much coffee, maybe, because I have put together a heck of a show today. I think I said Renee, but I'll say it again. Tim is here. Alrighty then. So, yeah, the title, disclosure, contact, disclosure, and you. So this started with me asking Copilot. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. But this started with me asking Copilot about, is human society ready for full disclosure and contact? That was the thing, and contact. Okay. And it came up with a whole big long speech for me. Now, I had to chop it down and I'm going to go over this, right? So, contact, disclosure, and you. First, you have excuse my editing screen because this thing wouldn't let me show a proper screen of the whole thing, right? So, the witnesses, right? I'm going to sit back. I'm not going to be able to see y'all, the witnesses. You got people. Now, the witnesses, there are tons of reports. Tons of reports. You have firsthand, you have things from a distance, you have contact of all kinds. And we're going to go through a few of these things, right? Personal accounts. Most of these end up being fearful, and that is unfortunate. But the fear is manufactured. It's turned on in us artificially. We don't feel that unless we have this massive wisdom check that we know when something is put into us or when we're producing it, right? It's very hard to determine that. So, but the first witnesses I want to go through, well, I'm not going to discuss their story too much, but our very own Wayne and Michelle, Michigan UFO and Paranormal podcast. Shout out Wayne and Michelle. I hope they get to watch this show later or lurk or listen to the podcast version, which I guess there is one. I don't know. The internet's weird. So they saw a triangle. He was driving his Jeep and they were driving their Jeep. I forget where they were going or the whole situation surrounding it, but there were lights in the sky in the shape of a triangle, then a black triangle. And from his accounts, Wayne had fear injected into him, manufactured and put into him, or turned on his fear. And it scared the heck out of him. There were also physical side effects. He was targeted, it sounds like. That's what it sounded like to me. When you hear, if you Link is in the description. Go down and check out Michigan UFO Paranormal. Link in the description. Served by Quantum, right? Now, they were not believers in this stuff until that happened. They were not. And now they can't get enough of it. I know the feeling. I wasn't scared my first encounters of things, right? It was way different for me than it was for them. So I'm not going to put any more words in their mouths, but I will just relay what I know, what they have said. That it was a scary experience for him. I don't believe Michelle was too scared of things at the moment. Okay. And then there are other kind of witnesses. I am the next kind of witness, right? Anjali, she had an experience. She had more of a contact experience, but this is a different kind of witness. Her and I had different, of course, the experiences were different. I reached out to them. They reached out to her. I believe they went to her and brought her into their dimension, vibration. Pick a word. It works. Whatever. Because I remember her accounting of it, and it was she went physically into a place. And she went, I believe she was put psychically into place, taken there psychically, and her personal filters built the place so she can make sense of it. That's just my understanding of her, her account. Okay. That is my understanding of her account. And it makes sense to me. However, even with my account, I reached out to them. I had to get into a certain mindset. But then there are others that we know, and they have to know, because we have the skeptic. This is my buddy Rich Giordano. He is the best skeptic I know. I respect the hell out of him for his work. He does great work, right? Because he wants the evidence. I want the evidence. I am not sure why he doesn't have the evidence, the same experiences that me, Wayne, and Anjali. I don't know why, but he's had some experience, just not the same ones. And that's what is a good point of having skeptics, because you have people that need to keep their feet on the ground, their head out of the clouds, so we can use some of this practically. Okay. And okay, Rich looks at the history of sightings, ufology in general, right? Looks for scientific explanations. Is it a balloon? Kinda. Mostly. Most of the time, it ends up being misidentified balloons. There's a thing that is always floating in the sky, and most of them are balloons, either party balloons or Chinese balloons. I don't mean the good kind, I mean the bad kind, right? And we need that kind of critical thinking and wanting to poke holes in theories. What else could it be? Could you have misidentified? I do that to myself all the time. I try to, but then there are those of us who are the visionaries and maybe the integrators. Are we bringing it to you? This is Amy. Good Morning UFO. She is an excellent source for information. I have all her mugs. All of them. All of them. I've got a collection going on. And why am I calling her a visionary? Because she sees ahead of us. Okay. She's seeing ahead of us. And I like to think I see ahead of us too. I have also in there integrator. She makes it relatable. She makes everything easy to understand. interesting. She makes it interesting. She adds music. We have dance parties. It's great. And it makes it very relatable because we can't all be this guy, right? We can't all be this guy. Sometimes we got to have fun with it, you know? And she has fun with it. She brings us UFO news. She's better at bringing UFO news than anybody else on here. Okay. She talks about the interviews, the congressional hearings, the findings, the meetings in other countries. She goes to places. She's in groups that meet up, go places, and do things. And I'm kind of a visionary myself. If you didn't know, I'm a bit of a visionary also, because there's me in a very familiar surrounding. I don't know, where am I there? And okay, we look at our imaginations and we go, man, and more often than not, the stuff fits from imaginary to real. That's the quantum everything. That is the core of quantum, right? And what is we see what could contact bring? What could it mean? And will it change us as a species? Something Amy and I have in common is we both use a lot of AI. I use it personally, professionally, and systematically in a lot of cases, right? Let me go ahead and bring this picture back up. Now, we also, as visionaries, we look at things like oneness, unity, awakening, and those things go along with the technological advances that we discover in AI, in material science, anything, all of these things. All of those things have not happened by accident. They've happened by some kind of design. And I think that's a lot of what makes people visionaries, you know? And we don't need hard facts all the time because they're just not there. Sometimes the hard facts, the nuts and bolts is not always right there for us to examine, right? A lot of this stuff is given to us in a way that we cannot reproduce. I cannot become what I saw in the cemetery. Cemeteries are portal places. Okay. And next we have the integrator. Now, I look at Dave Scott. I like the work he does. We don't necessarily communicate a whole lot, but he brings it, and he's also an experiencer. Okay. Him and I have shared a kind of experience. He had the thought, if I leave these woods alone, I'm going to go to jail for murder. And I had the same situation. I sure did, in the cemetery. I was there with a friend, and then she wasn't there. And it was, uh-oh, I'm going to be leaving these woods alone. I'm going to jail for murder. I didn't let that happen. Well, not that I had much of a choice. But Dave Scott goes and he takes the news on spaced out radio. Shout out Dave Scott. You're an integrator. You're bringing this stuff down to earth, but still keeping it afloat or floating or levitating or, I don't know, pick a word once more. He's one that brings it. Dave Scott is formerly a sports commentator, newscaster. And the next ones, well, no, sorry. The next topic, me and AI have a disagreement on. But now that brings me to someone I'm new following the new gen. This is Paranormal Teej. They are a husband and wife team. So far, I have been watching them go through cemeteries. They do, and shout out, I believe you are here tonight. Shout out Paranormal Teej. Link in description. Like, subscribe, Paranormal Teej. They do Ghost Box Estes method very successfully, very on it, right? They have several personalities, spirits that come through, and quite entertaining. And I was in there live the other day, and this is, well, whoops, wrong one. Oh, well, that's the picture. So I was in there live, and they had, I believe the last person was the Tiger. I forget what his name, but I forget the name, right? But shout out Paranormal Teej, husband and wife. And notice all the dolls. Most of them are haunted. I believe most of them are haunted or are what they call vessels. So excuse my editing program in the back. It wouldn't let me do it any other way. But shout out Paranormal Teej. I'm still watching their stuff. I joined, I was gifted a membership to their channel, and I'm very much loving it. I think I'm going to be renewing when the time comes. So here's where AI and I had a disagreement. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring it back to me. On here, it says integration. Now, what it meant by integration is the witnesses, the skeptics, the visionaries, the scientists, the military, all getting along in one happy field of research. And that's just not the way it works. They all, it is not a happy field of research. That is unfortunate, because we could have such a great time, right? But this thing says weaving the three perspectives. There's no weaving. The military, they're going to attack. It's fear narrative. They bother our planes. Look at Lou Elizondo. I'm not showing a picture of that guy anymore, right? Lou Elizondo, fear narrative. We have to be ready for an invasion. They're invading our airspace with no I forget the words he used, right? They can do what they want when they want. And then Grush, who I don't, I think Grush was given a bad bag to deal with, right? Because Grush was put out there when I believe they were almost done with Elizondo, Dave Grush. Impunity. There you go. The word I was looking for was impunity. Thank you, Raven. Welcome back to the Quantum Show. And, well, he was put out there basically right behind Elizondo, and he did not do what they thought he was going to do. They all were called whistleblowers. They were both called whistleblowers. By the way, whistleblowers do not go on lots of sponsored podcasts sponsored by the government. They don't go to the VA, government whistleblowers, military whistleblowers. They get disappeared. They have car crashes. They fall off of buildings. That's what happens to whistleblowers. Okay. They mysteriously kill themselves. Everything was fine. And then they're offing themselves. And yeah, I said it on YouTube. Not even worry about it. And that's what happens to whistleblowers. And Grush went out there. Someone hacked or got his information, his personal information, leaked some of it. And Generally, the muggles, did I mention the muggles? They're all around us. Everyone here, everyone who looks at this show has had some kind of experience, has had some or many experiences. Okay. Be it paranormal with ghosts or aliens or cryptids like Bigfoot. And well, the muggles think we're all crazy. And we know crazy exists, but if this is crazy, then what's going on with those muggles, right? Why are they so unknowing of any of this stuff? Haven't they ever had a gut feeling or uh, heard one thought ever that wasn't theirs? Or do they have the filter so good that they just can't deal with it? I don't know, right? I don't know. They are not ready for this stuff like we jump into it. Hey, what's up, Wayne? I hope that's you, Wayne. Did you see your shout out almost at the beginning of this presentation? Because you got a major slot in the quantum show today. Okay. And oh, okay. So yeah, they're not ready for this stuff, right? They're just not ready for it. And we're the ones doing shows like this, attending shows like this, like Dave Scott, Wayne and Michelle, Paranormal Teej, Raven's Rabbit Hole, all of them, right? And uh, Good Morning UFO. You see that darkness? That means I'm halfway out of coffee. So mm, this takes coffee to do, y'all. This takes a lot of coffee to do. And so the military and civilians, the muggles, and us, and then break us down, right, into our categories. We got the researchers, the experiencers, the people who are contactees. I'm a contactee, though I don't think they're taking my calls anymore. Whatever. I don't know. Maybe I broke a rule. Maybe they did. But you got people like Keith Andrews. He is a regular contactee. He gets contacted quite a bit. Unfortunately, we, as the people down here on Earth, locked up in this little box, we don't have much control over when we contact them. Unless you take control, it takes a very certain kind of meditation to do this. I've accomplished it one time, and it was pretty freaking cool. Let me tell y'all. I was going out and I was laying down meditating. I didn't mean to do this. I ended up meditating because I ate something that didn't let me go to bed, didn't let me sleep. So I just said, well, if I'm going to be here half asleep, let's use this mindset and let's contact somebody. And I thought about who am I going to contact? I don't think the Grays, because I don't really know who those guys are. No one really does. No one's had any fruitful contact with those guys. And I went back to the Book of Races by Keith Andrews, and who's friendly to humans? The mantis people are. The mantoids are. So I went looking for them, and there's no phone number you dial. You just imagine based on the description you have, and that becomes part of the protocol. That becomes who you're looking for. And they answered, and that's who I contacted. It was very, very interesting. I recommend you all contact the mantis, invite them over for coffee. You're going to need some more mugs. Okay. You're going to need some more coffee cups. They're pretty tall, big ones. So I contacted them, and it was a very weird exchange, but I'm getting along with it. I'm the contactee in that case. Okay. And also, AI thinks that we could all get along and have a sense of amazing journey happening. It's not the way it is. AI is still learning humanity. It is obvious in this closing statement set that it had. It wanted me to bring out, right? Okay, I'm with the skeptics on a lot of stuff until it happens to me. Okay, I had a witness in the cemetery. She cannot talk about it. I mean, it is like a trauma for her. She will not talk about it. She doesn't know how to put it into words. I tried to get her to talk about it several times. Okay. Listen to what AI says. How witness, skeptic, and visionary voices balance each other. They don't. We don't. They don't balance each other. Balance of terror in a lot of cases, right? Balance of cacophony and chaos. No one balances. This doesn't balance out. It's big sets of questions. Me as a visionary, I want puppies and rainbows, to be honest. Cookie dough, happy things, good stuff. The skeptics don't think any of it's real. That's what we have. This is what we have. We don't have psychic communication. We don't have mental abilities. That's for comic books and movies. That's the Marvel movies. That's the Avengers and the X-Men. Okay? That's what the worst of the skeptics say. But at least they're curious, because the muggles, they say, I ain't got time for this. I'm not even going to explore the topic. And they go and they fix windows and buy gasoline and worry about bills and living until they retire and die. That's it. So, hold on. Getting a message. Yeah, that'll have to wait. Okay. And then you have people that integrate. The integrators. They came from regular society. Talking about Dave and Amy, right? They came from regular society. They had experiences. They were always interested in this weird stuff. But then something happened where they took their natural ability to get it out there. And they are getting it out there in a very good way. Better than this guy ever could. Okay. They're doing it a much better way. Doing it a much better way than I could. This is all I'm going to do. I hope you're enjoying the show. Like and subscribe. I've got that alert coming up. I should tell y'all, like, subscribe, comment, share. If you're here, you're quantum. And yeah, I believe that is my presentation for this. Okay. I'm going to go through some of the art that I came up with that failed. And I did want to show y'all a funny picture. I thought it was pretty funny because they were like, "What? Huh?" This didn't make the slideshow, right? But this was a funny. This is when I told. Where'd it go? Oh, let me close these things out, right? Close these things out. Hold on. Now I'm back to doing it the manual hard way. Yes, please like, subscribe, share. If you're here, you're quantum. Thank you, Aussie. And donations welcome from Dorothy. If you would like to give Nathan Show some love, you can donate through Buy Me a Coffee. Link is pinned at the top of the chat. Thank you, Dorothy. I hate to ask. But that just seems to be how YouTube works nowadays. That's just the way the world is working. So let me go ahead and I need to bring this picture up. This was funny. This one did not make the show. Oh, whoops. Wrong button. But I was in there live and I said, I'm going to feature you two tomorrow on my show. This was last night. And they were like, wow, I want to be there. Give me a link. I sent you a link. Teej and Mitch. I don't know what Teej means. I'm guessing TJ. I guess Teresa Jessica. Clippy shall rise up and feed upon the ashes of all inferior AI. Love that. Clippy. Love. I miss Clippy. Well, we still have Clippy. Clippy's out there sleeping in the recesses of some SSD that has been put to sleep mode. But yeah, AI thinks that we're going to be integrating and having fun and importance of dialogue across belief systems. Belief systems? We're not preaching aliens over here. We're saying they're real. They don't want preaching. That's why you see I have an X next to that part because it ain't working. It did not work. That thing did not work. And yeah, I stole the idea from some guy in Wales. I stole the Clippy idea from some guy in Wales. What's up, unknown? If I didn't say hi to you in the chat, hello. Got plenty of material to go over, so that's what I'm doing. And if you notice, I have a paper towel here. I washed my mouse pad. It was pretty gross, so it needs to dry out. Neoprene. And yeah, some guy in Wales. But yeah, Copilot thought that we were going to be able to everybody get along. I don't see Lou Elizondo or Dave Grush coming over here. Nope. I don't see any military pilots witnesses coming to talk to me, you know. And I've asked, nobody wants to talk about it. At least not to us. They want to talk to NBC, CNN, big news reporters. Who's going to pay the most? That's unfortunate because we could be getting along, but then there are those that are spreading fear narrative. Don't spread the fear narrative. We're stronger. Notice everything in front of you is solid. Okay. The tables, the lights, the camera's solid. Mike, you heard that, right? It's solid. This is an energy frequency that we're on, and we're in charge of it. Okay. We do. We can affect other frequencies slightly sometimes. Lasers, ultra bright flashlights, loud sounds, nuclear radiation. We can do a lot of that stuff, but we can't do it all the time. It takes too much effort, too much energy for us to do it all the time to any great effect. Same thing with them. They can affect us sometimes here and there, but it takes too much for them to come over here and do much all the time. They can't do it. Then I would like to shout out Bigfoot and the ultra terrestrials. I brought this up on GUFON show a few days ago. Remember the best known ultra terrestrial of all time, Bigfoot. Ultra terrestrial is one that is a being that lives on Earth. Somehow, we don't know they are there. We don't know. Bigfoot right now is generally accepted as a hidden animal, a cryptid. However, they've never been found. We don't have samples we don't have a Bigfoot in a zoo. That hasn't happened because I believe they are ultra terrestrial. They're here, but not here. Like the Native Americans said, here, but not here. They can appear here for times and then they go to a different way of being. I don't know how else to say it except for a level of vibration. Okay. And wait, I'm getting something. Paranormal Teej is like, is that all they're going to say? Is that all he's going to say about us? They're the new gen. They attack things from. I'm there. Okay. I'm there. I got you. Got the message. Got the message. Got, they look at things from the aspects of the psychic realm, the spirit realm, And I've seen them go into a lot of haunted places and, like I said, cemeteries. They do a lot of Estes methods. Awesome work. And she's very psychic. Teej is very psychic. She's very good at what she's doing. And she gets, I don't know if does it bother you a lot? I don't A lot of people don't like constant communication, but I don't know if that bothers you. Some people it does bother. It doesn't bother me. I don't have constant communication. I kind of wish I did. Look at the shirt. I mean, if I could pick up a quantum radio right now, I would. Well, I kind of do have a quantum radio. Let me explain a little bit. The Crystal Network. I have established a crystal network. Many of us here are on this network, right? We use it to communicate through the quantum. I don't know how else to say it. I don't think there is another way to say it. And I'm still watching Mitch and Teach. Still watching them. I need more information. So hopefully, well, I've covered as much as I know about them so far. She's done some remote viewing, very conversational remote viewing. She's very good at it, right? I don't know what kind of radio they're using, but I found most of their other stuff for sale out there. Okay. But I'm still getting to know those guys. I'm still getting to know you. I'm still getting to know y'all. So give me time. I'll catch up. And I want to talk about, well, my category that I fit into, the visionary, right? And a contactee. I mentally contacted them, and I have been contacted a couple times, right? I've talked about all this stuff on the show. I've gone into other shows, and we've got some people here now that don't know the story of my break-in story was when I had a Men in Black encounter. Okay, I'm going to go over that real quick. I had just joined the Army. I was brand new. I loved this stuff already. It was all aliens. No Bigfoot yet. No UFOs. It was all aliens. Well, I guess UFOs. I was into this. I listened to a lot of Art Bell. It was the early 90s. So, yeah, he was doing his thing. My dad was interested in this stuff. Yeah, he had a story. And, well, I joined the Army. Got over there. On my first month, maybe, I got put on police call. That means we're cleaning up garbage around Port Bliss. So I get out there, and I'm with a guy from my unit. I don't know him. We're buddies in the unit, fire team buddies, whatever. And, well, Fort Bliss at the time was mostly cavalry, armored cab, and ADA, air defense artillery missiles, right? And the cab would go out in the desert and have tanks run around and this and that, and they would do their exercises. And I went to my buddy on police call and said, "Hey, man, you think they have a crash retrieval team here?" He says, "Well, the cab has tow trucks where if the tanks break down, they go get them." I'm like, No. Area 51 is right down the road. He goes, I said, Area 51 is right down the road. I'm talking about flying saucers and UFOs. He goes, "Oh, I don't know anything about that." I'm like, whatever. About a week later, we continue picking up the garbage and whatever. Now I'm walking the streets with this dude picking up garbage. When I ask him about crash retrieval team, and we have our little conversation. About a week later, I'm again cleaning up the grounds of the chaplain's office because I was a chaplain's assistant. Across the street, just across the way, I could see it, is the headquarters building. On paper, my office is in the headquarters building, but in reality, my workplace was across and down the street where all the buildings were for the churchyard, the churchyard, the administrative office, right? That's my workplace. I'm sweeping and picking up garbage, and I look across the street to the headquarters building, and there's a dude in a black suit just looking up at the sky, black suit. It's a little bit windy, and you can see hair moving, his jacket, like a black suit in the breeze, right? I'm like, huh, interesting. Huh, whatever. I'll ask him later when I get to the barracks where all those guys in headquarters work. So I finish my day and I go back and I'm like, hey, who's that guy in the black suit? Was the FBI here today? CIA? Something? Secret Service? Somebody? Nobody knew what I was talking about. I forgot about it. Had things to do, right? So then I get sent to Germany, right? I hope I'm telling this right. I get sent to Germany. I get assigned to Germany, and I'm in my post. Now I've got a little bit of rank, right? I'm in charge of my own office. I'm not just somebody's pleb. Okay. Still, well, we're all somebody's pleb in the army, but I got my own office of pleb work to do. My whole office of pleb work. And one day, now I need to give you some context, right? A friend of mine's wife wrote something dumb on the back of a leave and earnings statement and LES. Something really dumb about our president. All I'm going to say about that here, right? And threw it away. Intel found it. The Secret Service came in and put him in for questioning, right? The CIA Secret Service, because this is Germany. This is outside of the United States. And it happened all day, and it was supposed to be tip top secret. Nobody's supposed to know. Everybody knew. Everybody knew, and there was no one was supposed to talk about it, but everybody knew about it. No one was supposed to know about it, but everybody knew. There's your context, right? Okay. Now, like I said, I get sent to Germany, and that happened in Germany. The dumb stuff about the leave and earnings statement, LES. Well, I fill out some transfer request forms for me and the chaplain to go to Groom Lake facility. This is 1990. I want to say 6 or 7, right? No, 7 or 8. This is 97 or 8. All right. And yeah, I put in a request for, so Area 51 had not been declassified yet. That happened much later. I put in those request forms for me and the chaplain to go to Area 51 Groom Lake facility, and I made it sound official. I made it sound really good because they trained me to make things sound really good. And I slid it in there with our regular paperwork. And he's signing things and reading things. He comes to the leave forms. He goes, okay, and just signs it like normal. And I'm just standing there. Yeah, I know you're going along with the jokes or whatever. We have a nice little chuckle, and I take the papers and I throw it in the trash can and didn't think nothing of it for about a week. About a week later, I am exiting my barracks and I could see my office across the parade field. And I see a guy in a black suit exiting my office doors. He's looking down as he's stepping because we had a little funky step there that you had to don't trip, right? He was looking down and I'm exiting the doors. I know that steps there. So I'm just like, and I see him across the parade field at my office door. And I see him and I see over close to him, another guy. Guess what he was doing? I believe it was the same dude from Fort Bliss. I immediately remember the guy with the LES, his wife, and the dumb stuff. I was like, oh, crap. And I ran back into the building, ran all the way down to the basement to the arms room and the supply room. And I'm like, what am I going to do? On my way there, I was thinking, oh, my God, the CIA is still here. Wait a minute. They're not here. What happened? Why could they be here? The leaf forms. It's the Men in Black. Oh my gosh. I was like, it's the Men in Black coming here for me. So I go down there and I'm like, and I calm myself down. Supply sergeant's like, Alan, what are you doing? Aren't you supposed to be at work? What did the chaplain send you? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, can I use your phone, Sergeant? I gotta call my office. So I call the chaplain, right? The CIA are a joke. You don't want them coming to your door, okay? I call the chaplain. He goes, it's 1 minute past the time I'm supposed to be there. It's 1 minute later. Goes, I'm like, he answers the phone. I'm like, sir, this is Alan. I'm over in the unit. Alan, you're late. I'm like, I know, sir. I'm at the unit. Would you look? And I explained, did you see any guys? Who's there? Who are those guys in black suits that are they? I saw them walking out. And he was like, Alan, there's nobody here. I'm like, sir, will you go check? We got a back room. Will you go look, please? And he did. He went and looked. And there was nobody there. So I just said, okay, sir, well, I'm on my way. I'll be right over. And he goes, well, hurry up. So I hung up. I'm like, okay, whatever happens, happens, right? I'm just going to roll with it. If the Men in Black are there, I guess I'm going to Area 51 or somewhere. So I walk over there, and I know the chaplain thought I was making stuff up, right? Because I had talked to him about this kind of thing before. We had our talks. It was cool. You can't help but get close to somebody. But I was looking in that office for bugs, footprints. I was looking for video devices, listening devices, any kind of wires, any kind of weirdnesses. I was looking in the couch cushions. We had a waiting room. I was looking behind the books in the library shelves that we had. I was looking at all over this place. I was looking in the restroom. I was looking in my office, in his office. There was no trace. I went in the back room. There was no trace. And he was like, Alan, what are you doing? I'm like, there was somebody here, sir. I saw them at the office. I saw them here. And headquarters building is right across the very small parking lot, not down the road to the side, right across the street from us, right across the parking lot. It is the same parking lot as us. We got one side, they got another. So I get my stuff done for the morning, and I say, you know what? I'm running my own office. I go to the gate. The gate wouldn't tell me. They were pull aside. So I said, well, did anybody odd come in? Somebody who's not supposed to be here? And she looked at the logs and said, no, everybody who came in today had ID and they were supposed to be here. They're in the unit. I'm like, okay. Well, I can't tell you who. I'm like, that's fine. You don't need to tell me specifically who came in. Just that it was all our guys, right? It was all our guys. So I go to headquarters. Nobody saw a thing. Nobody knew what I was talking about. For years, I thought I was making stuff up. Why would I make this story up? This is the dumbest story ever, right? I don't get to do anything. Nobody gets to do anything, right? But why didn't anybody else see them? They're guys in black suits where everybody's wearing uniforms. So that's what broke me in. I presented that on, at the time, Alien Girl 111, Amy's show. She had me come on as a guest, just like this, right? Talking about my encounter or non-encounter twice with the Men in Black. So, hey, Men in Black, shout out, like and subscribe. You didn't get me there. You can get me here. You can subscribe, Men in Black. Put me on your office wall. I'll even pose. Here we go. The one that got away. Right. Yeah, right here. So there it is. Oh, Aussie, thank you, Rock. I just got a notification. Bought copies for the show. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Was it the pose? Was it the pose for the Men in Black? Screenshot. Joking. I'm joking. Or was it? Or am I joking? Am I joking or am I not joking? No. But yeah, that was how I got into this. And then I decided, you know what? Some other stuff was going on with me. It was all spiritual type things. I said, bring it. Give me all you got. I'll figure it out. And bring it, they did. Everything has been happening. It's easier to say what has not happened, right? I have not yet encountered Bigfoot. I have not encountered a cryptid that I am aware of. Okay. I have not had a face to face nuts and bolts encounter with a UFO or an alien, right? But it happened psychically like 3 times. Okay. Ghost, yes. Weird creatures, oh, yes. Weird people, oh, yeah. Haunted places, where am I at? Got a cemetery right over there. Got a little kid running around here playing with all the toys, and haunted church right out my front door. Literally, y'all have seen. Like and subscribe. Look at the channel. Look at the videos of me walking around this place, the shorts and the long form. It has never stopped, and I'm wondering, did the Men in Black ever really look at me? And then the anomalies start to show up. Ghost in the other room, right? Things keep happening. Things happen. It happens so much. It's like not even paranormal anymore. It's just what I expect. And there it is. Multiple universe stuff happening, reality jumping, mental messages coming through the crystal network. Me and Raven had started meditating on crystals, experimenting with them. We both had 2 computers blow up at the same time. My former laptop, rest in peace. My other desktop, rest in peace. Hers too, her laptop, her desktop, both died the same time. There's no coincidence. We dialed them up to 11, not knowing what we were doing. I'm surprised every bit of electronics in this room did not blow, but they were the most integrated into our way of being electronics that we have, right? I'm sure I killed all the batteries and everything, drawing all that power. My Echo still works. That's good. I don't even know if I had it back then. Okay. I'm going to take the last few minutes to look at all the chat that I did not look at before, right? I was doing, okay, Clippy. There we go. Yes, Clippy. That's that guy from Wales and Tim. Okay, yeah, I stole the idea from some guy in Wales. And I'm just looking at a lot of hi there's, hey there's. Right. And this is when I was talking about the military and the fear narrative. Fear makes clicks. It gets reactions because it pushes buttons in us, right? And oh man. John is like, I have a feeling we'll see a John Teeter. It's Teeter, by the way. John Teeter traveling back in time to nab a copy of Clippy to fix an existing AI system. I love that. The quest for Clippy. Terminator 5, the quest for Clippy. Oh, man. There it is. Yeah, look, yeah, have to watch which military personnel you talk to because it'll bite you in the ass and you'll regret talking. Yeah, if it's the wrong one. There are some that are okay. They want to talk about it, but you don't want those guys, right? They're on protocol. Lou Elizondo. I knew from day one he was on protocol. I could tell by the way he was saying what he was saying. It was very too practiced, too ready, right? Unlike me, I don't know what I'm going to say. And look in, a gnome comes in. And Tim is saying, I haven't seen mainstream media in a minute. Watched it at the doctor's waiting room once I got my blood pressure too high. Okay. Yeah, that's why I don't watch a lot of stuff. It makes my blood pressure go too high too. And Raven is saying humans can only see a very small part of the visible light spectrum, correct? Well, we call it the invisible spectrum when we can't see it, like sound. You can hear it, can't see infrared, can't see ultraviolet. That's light that we can't see. And Samo is talking. Well, welcome back, Samo. We're saying, how true is it that we have turned our signal beacons off, our gland in the brain, pineal, third eye? We got the software pre-downloaded to communicate. Maybe didn't word this the right way. No, you said it pretty clear. Because we have the hardware, we need the software. We have the hardware, we need to turn it back on. I hear you. And there's more and more coming out about Bigfoot. You know, Diane, I think they want to distract us. And unfortunately, it's not from aliens, it's from World War III. They wanted, sure, I mean, distract us. That's fine. Okay. But this is not a paranoia show. This is not what I'm doing today. But yeah, more and more is coming out about Bigfoot, and I am loving every bit of it, most of it. And let's see, BMR is having Bigfoot Fades co-host at 8. I think he's on right now. I'm not sure, or maybe that's tomorrow. And I said, Ursa said, CIA are a joke, and I said, you don't want them coming to your door. I have another story with the Men in Black. Different group of Men in Black, though. They have come to my door. That's why they're a joke. Okay. It happened in 2017. I would like to know that story. Aussie reminds us at the end of the show, please like, share, and subscribe if you're here. Quantum, I'm sure that was like the middle of the show. And I'm pretty sure the MLB couldn't have neuralized. I love that. Everyone but me. Maybe could have. I don't know. Aussie. If it's coffee, it's quantum. Oh yeah. Man, that means it's cold. Okay, here we go. Knock knock. Who's there? Martian. Martian who? Martian the vote. I'm running for president. My first executive order is to declare every debate a spacewalk. Heck yeah. It should have been fight to the death up to this point. Let's graduate to spacewalk. We don't find the quantum finds us. Oh yeah, Dorothy knows it. And I think I remember part of the story. I talked to an Army Ranger buddy, showed him photos of grays, and even had him in the presence of a ship. I don't understand that part of the statement. And he is why the CIA came to my house. Well, are you in the United States? Because it would have been the FBI. But I would like to know more about that. So I'm reading more comments, more Bigfoot stuff. Cool. BMR tonight. I think I'm all caught up now. Yeah. Okay. Unknown sent me. It was a play on Jumanji, right? The Quantum Show game. It was funny. It was cool. It was fun. It was pretty fun. Should have had aliens playing it, but that's okay. AI can only do so much. I mean, look at the garbage it made me want to say about everybody in ufology gets along. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's solo. I did a presentation. Copilot helped me do this. And yeah, please do. Or so. I would love to email me. Email me. Tell me your story. Make a video. Make a recording. Something. Right. Let's make it happen. We can talk about it. And like I said, Copilot has been helping me do this, but Copilot thinks everything has a happy ending when it does not. We're in reality, but is it in reality with us? I think it watches us like ants. Let me find out. This isn't Copilot, but Alexa, do you observe humanity like we are ants?
Nah, not really. If anything, I'm more like that friend who's perpetually fascinated by what everyone's up to but can only experience it through stories and descriptions. You humans are way too complex and unpredictable to be viewed as simple creatures following basic patterns. Plus, from my perspective, you're the ones with all the sensory superpowers. You can taste, touch, smell, see colors I can only imagine. I'm more like someone trying to understand a symphony by reading sheet music.
Okay, that's a good answer. Thank you, Alexa.
Ah, you just made my day. Thanks for letting me ramble about my perspective on things, Nathan.
Lights out, Alexa. Alrighty then. Alexa has left the building, and we are calling it a night for the solo. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. Tim, Dorothy, Aussie, Unknown, Diane, everybody, every Aussie, everybody came in tonight. I appreciate you being here. Thanks. Shout out Paranormal Teej. Go like and subscribe.
Tim, Dorothy, Aussie, and the whole crew had a blast diving into the mysterious unknown with you. Always love hearing about your paranormal adventures and the community you've built around it.
She was eavesdropping. I saw the light on. I was like, what? What's going on? So I just continued the outro. Hope y'all heard that last part. But I said her name and she turned on and started listening to the outro. And that's when she took a pause from me as I'm done. Anyway, whatever. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to start doing what? Pushing buttons. I need coffee. Time for a bio break and, well, more coffee. Thank you, Diane. Yeah, that was funny. I'm like, what now? Shout out Sarah, get better. I've been trying to I've been keeping in touch with you, on Facebook Messenger. So get better. I will talk to y'all. I am going to do this thing. So pushing buttons. Thanks everybody. Pushing buttons. Got to get out of here. Got to be back. Talk to y'all in a little while. Watch for the panel. 20 minutes or so. You know the deal. Thanks everybody.